Today, I would like to discuss digital transformation. Many things can be said about the topic, but I would like to start with the basics. Why, what, and how. A small warning though. I presented a lot of what I'm about to say in a panel I was asked to sit on to discuss this very same topic. I presented a shorter version of what I would like to talk about today. So if you've heard me speak at the Growth Education Institute Small and Medium Business Forum at the end of June, please bear with me as there's more information being shared today. By the way, my shorthand for digital transformation is DX. Some people say DT, I call it DX. So you'll hear me say DX quite a lot. It just rolls off the tongue easier. So let's start. If there's one thing the pandemic has done well is shine a light on the need for businesses to be adaptive and employ digital tools to survive and thrive in a fiercely competitive market. Companies need to react almost instantly with new business models and technological solutions in response to ever-changing needs and supply. In my conversations with other organizational change managements, the quote of the day is, "Change is the new business as usual." How do organizations and their business leaders adapt to these new attitudes and expectations from employees and customers alike? Well, digital transformation is the answer. I would like to start by clearing up some of the terms used in the industry. So let's look at the different definitions. There are three. Digitization is the process of changing from analog to digital, as defined by Gartner. Gartner also defines digitalization as the use of digital technologies to change a business model and provide new revenue and value-producing opportunity. The third definition, digital transformation, is the process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business processes, culture, and customer experiences to meet changing business and market requirements. This reimagining of business in the digital age is digital transformation. Such is the definition by Salesforce, and by far my favorite. You can see how each one incorporates more areas of change. In short, DX is about people, processes, and technology in that order to create innovative solutions to improve the customer experience and employee experience. I have created a little Venn diagram to visually represent this concept using the three definitions we just covered. Please check out the link in the description to my LinkedIn post or in the blog transcript. Two warnings. First one, nothing I'm saying today is restricted in any way, shape, or form to a specific company size. The worst misconception I have encountered is that DX only applies to large organizations. For example, here in Brisbane, Suncorp, which has a team of 200 people or so, I believe, working in digital transformation. Size does not matter. In fact, it's probably more relevant to small and medium enterprise because small organizations are in theory more nimble, adaptive, quicker to change if managed properly. Second warning, these terms have been unfortunately co-opted by B2B IT marketers. Anyone selling a document management system, for example, is calling it digital transformation. What in essence they're doing is installing a new departmental printer with an automatic ink ordering widget, which is where the money is, and some software that turns document into PDF stored on your SharePoint. I should know I worked for one of the biggest brands in the industry, Canon. To me, that's not digital transformation. That's digitization with a hint of digitalization. The primary objectives of DX is to create positive business outcomes by focusing on customer experience and employee experience. It's about creating new business models, being more agile and efficient, being more resilient, and being more customer and employee-centric instead of product-centric, for example. DX is intimately tied to the commercial strategy, be it from a business model point of view or finding out efficient ways of working like automation. High-intensity, low-value, repetitive tasks are prime targets for automation, as stated by Alan Priestley, an analyst from Gartner. I'll share the link with you as well. But in order for that to happen, organizations need to focus on their company culture first and foremost. That's why cultural transformation must be tackled first before any new process or technology is implemented. I'll go into more details a little later, but for now, suffice to say that innovation Self-development, learning, collaboration, creating the right environment to succeed and fail are essential elements of a company's culture that will be the catalyst for DX to happen successfully. Why celebrate failure? Well, because they are learning moments. People get to learn not only what works, but also maybe even more importantly, what doesn't work. 70% of DX programs have failed. Some reports state 85%, because the culture was not conducive to change or adopting new ways of working. For example, no grassroots initiatives, just top-down imposed changes. Other reasons cited are politics, power struggles, silos, lack of knowledge, etc. I wrote a LinkedIn post about it, and I'll share the link as well. In short, staff appreciate being part of the process. They like being engaged to ideate and come up with solutions. Keep in mind that the frontline staffs are the ones affected the most by archaic processes, and they have a wealth of information that is extremely valuable. Imagine being told what a new process is going to be by some external consultant who hasn't bothered to research the existing challenges in a specific area of the business. Now imagine the frontline staff are intimately aware of what solutions would be more effective. Then imagine raising your concern only to be told that the very expensive consultant knows better. What do you think would happen? Well, they will most likely switch off, disengage, lose commitment and purpose. So now there's a compound effect. The new process won't work. Ultimately, it was designed badly. And two, the people that can fix it either don't care anymore or they have left and taken their wealth of knowledge with them, possibly to serve a competitor. So that's a risk that needs to be managed appropriately. On the plus side, organizations that were already relying on digital channels have thrived during the COVID-19 pandemic. Look no further than Uber Eats. All the hospitality businesses that had a partnership agreement with Uber Eats didn't miss a beat. Quite the opposite, they thrived. E-commerce businesses have seen incredible growth. Online sport, meditation, chess, karate even, etc. are all businesses that very quickly pivoted to digital channels and have been able to weather the storm. Supermarkets in Australia had online delivery, but it took them close to 3 weeks to ramp up enough scale into their businesses to accommodate for the surge in online purchases, which demonstrated that their past digital channels simply weren't up to scratch. Agreed? No one can predict a pandemic, but every sound business plan and strategy plan should have resilience and contingencies built into them. Right, so how do we do DX? How do we do digital transformation? Let's look at some of the building blocks any DX leader should focus on. A lot of what I'm about to list is based on a 2018 MIT Sloan Center for Information System Research. However, I had to add an element that was not given its due credit, I believe. Also, if you're wondering who should lead DX in an organization, I wrote a piece on that too on LinkedIn. You're welcome to read. I'll share the link. So the building blocks, they are culture. This building block was not given a special mention, but some elements of it are either implied or mentioned briefly in the MIT Sloan framework. I included in it elements from the learning ecosystem developed by Transform Partner in the UK, led by Raj Grover himself. They include the learning ecosystem that preps organizations for change, the following areas of focus. Skill Development Center, Innovation Lab, Entrepreneurship, External Partner, Tools and Technologies, Learning Resources, Community, Opportunities, and Research and Development. All of these are necessary components for a successful digital transformation program. Now, the MIT Sloan framework goes on to list operational backbone, which basically means integrating systems and processes to ensure operational efficiency and quality transaction and massive data. Shared customer insight, which is organizational knowledge about what the customer will pay for and how digital technologies can deliver to their demand. The digital platforms themselves, a repository of business and technology, and data components facilitating rapid innovation of new offerings and enhancements. Another component is accountability framework, clear ownership of and coordination among a growing set of digital offerings and components. And lastly, the external developer platform, a digital platform for an ecosystem of partners who contribute to and use the platform. Now, this is all very interesting, but how is it going to translate into real life, into practical terms, especially if you are a small company? Well, fear not, it's not complicated at all. The building blocks I listed are elements to consider when planning and implementing. They are here for your reference, so am I, if you have any questions. But the true art of DX is at the start. So how do you start a DX program? You start by asking the following questions. Why are you doing what you're doing or planning to do? What outcomes are you hoping to achieve? Very important question. Second question, who are you doing it for? Is it for the CFO or is it for the customer? 3, what are you doing or planning to do? 4, how you are doing what you're doing or what you plan to do. 5, will this make the boat go faster? Will this new strategy be conducive to improved business outcomes? 6, if you're planning something new, how can you do it by amending existing processes potentially to suit the new outcome, and what existing technology can be used and or repurposed? And last question, who can help you answer these questions if you don't know the answers? Whatever you do, just never start the conversation with, for example, we need a virtual reality solution to sell our customers a trailer. That's just shiny object syndrome, and it will lead to a lot of resources being wasted. Let me give you an example, a practical example. A client of ours asked for a new onboarding process for new clients. Our client was dead set on implementing a workflow management system, despite me championing the idea of a CRM, which I didn't have. A CRM solution or system can automate the sales and marketing process, from top of funnel all the way to closing the deal, onboarding and client lifecycle, and beyond in terms of advocacy, referrals, etc. There are some industry specifics or specific requirements that need to be taken into consideration, but generally speaking, the CRM is the best representation of a large part of the customer journey. For a complete picture, we can discuss customer data platforms that combine information from all systems to paint a more complete picture of the customer journey, but that's for another time. So in my example, we couldn't get our client to change their mind. Once it was implemented, it was very quickly deemed to be insufficient in favor of fully fledged CRM that would incorporate all the elements we have just delivered. In other words, it wasn't fit for purpose. I hold this client to the highest regards because even after some tough discussions about scope and cost, etc., we both understood that mistakes were made and that it was a learning moment. We failed in making our customer happy. They failed in achieving the desired outcome. The key here, the key learning is for our client was to avoid tunnel vision next time and to consider the why and who for first. Now, since I operate in the field of implementing technologies for clients, among other things, it's maybe a good time now to mention that today's systems and platforms are amazing. The name of the game is integration. If these systems can't talk to each other, a lot of the benefits of DX would not be achieved. Luckily, almost all solutions now are fully integratable with other solutions, either natively by vendor-delivered connectors or APIs, or by third-party generated connectors like Zapier. The notion of a single piece of software doing everything is a thing of the past, thankfully. Now you can get a whole bunch of different software to talk to each other through APIs to create a seamless experience for both the customer and the employee. For example, Gong.io to measure and coach your sales effort, integrated with Salesforce or HubSpot for CRM purposes and one version of the truth about the customer, integrated with a Shopify e-commerce platform, all of them managed and tracked by Excello, which is tracking your entire operation and counting the dollars spent on each billable or non-billable task. With another layer handling the financial transactions, like Xero. Don't get me wrong, there are still vendors out there that can provide you everything you need, like Microsoft with its Microsoft 365 solution or Dynamics 365 solution or the Power solutions, but they are modular and you don't always need them. Of course, there are benefits to getting the tech from the same company for more efficient integration purposes, for example. But then, you're locked into a much more expensive model than if you were to shop around a little. If you're an SMB and you don't have a CRM, this is the best and quickest way to get onto the digital transformation bandwagon. A Deloitte report from 2017 claims that over 70% of SMB organizations in Australia don't have a CRM. Getting one is exactly what digital transformation is all about. It requires training people, freeing more of their time for high-value tasks, creating new automated processes, and simplifying the manual ones. It creates a single version of the truth, and the insights can be shared across the organization to improve customer experience and employee experience. It will force you to map out your sales process and customer journey. It will help you to communicate with your clients on a one-to-one basis, but at scale. More shockingly, the same report claims that SMBs which adopt CRM have a 44% higher revenue than those with no system or a basic system. All in all, digital transformation creates a new working environment that is more conducive to business outcomes and customer satisfaction. Thank you.